Desperate search for a solution as COVID-19 takes its toll on domestic violence victims, leaving them nowhere to turn. State of Play, the Premier gets set to hold wide-reaching talks to get businesses open and back on track. Money talks, JobKeeper payments start flowing into the pockets of workers, but there's criticism many more are missing out. Manifestly excessive, a Brisbane fashion designer to be freed from prison early after throwing a knife into her husband's heart. And on a road to nowhere, the 5-year-old caught behind the wheel driving cross-country to buy himself a Lamborghini.
This is 10 News First Queensland with Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a developing situation out of central Queensland. We're going to go straight to Joe Hill, who's in the newsroom now. Joe, what's happened?
Well, Geordie, this afternoon there was an underground explosion at a coal mine in Moranbah. This has left 5 workers with critical injuries. 3 of them, we understand, are currently on ventilators. We understand that they've suffered burns to their upper bodies and airways and that they've been taken to hospital. An emergency flight has been organised to bring a number of the patients back to Brisbane. That's expected to arrive in the area at around 6 p.m. before making the return flight later on. This happened at around 3 o'clock this afternoon at the Grosvenor coal mine in Moranbah, which is about 200 kilometres southwest of Mackay, roughly 1,000 kilometres north of Brisbane. Georgie, at this stage, it's unclear what caused the explosion, but as you can imagine, a major investigation will take place into this incident.
Joe, thank you with that update. Now to a crisis that's worsening within the coronavirus pandemic. Authorities say violence being unleashed in homes across Queensland is more brutal and severe, with nowhere to hide. It sparked desperate measures to protect the growing number of lives on the line.
Right now, in homes, innocent Queenslanders are increasingly under attack.
If you are a victim, you are probably now at home 24 hours a day with a perpetrator who is watching your every move.
Just months after the act of evil that broke a nation's heart and sparked calls for change, domestic and family violence is worsening at our emergency departments, a disturbing new trend.
The reduction in sporting injuries and road trauma has been partially offset by trauma caused by domestic and family violence.
There's been a 75% increase in the number of searches for help. Alcohol consumption is up by 70%, and even more alarming, support services say the violence is more brutal and more severe.
We know that perpetrators who are already violent will be even angrier.
The majority of our cases are COVID-related cases. We're certainly seeing an increase in complexity of matters that are coming through.
Today, the Premier promised an extra $2 million for DV support and launched a virtual summit.
And we are determined to make a difference today. We simply must do that, and we won't be leaving until we've got those solutions.
Bringing together experts, policymakers, victims' loved ones to solve problems like this and save lives.
How do we be accessible to victims whose only opportunity to call might be the 2 minutes that they spend behind a closed door in the toilet?
Another concern, some are too scared to visit shelters, fearful they'll be exposed to coronavirus.
Services are operating in a different way, but we're still here.
What's also different, domestic violence vigils. This year it's virtual. At 6 o'clock tonight, Queenslanders will light candles at home to mourn and remember those no longer with us.
Please join us and extend that support to all families who've lost loved ones through domestic and family violence.
John Paul Gonzo for 10 News First.
And anyone needing help in times of crisis can ring DV Connect on 1800 811 811 at any time. The Premier is set to hold crucial talks with industry leaders to nail down a time frame to reopen cafes and restaurants. But the opposition is demanding more detail about exactly when doors will open.
Andrew Buturo is determined to get his staff back on the books.
We stood down 100 staff, unfortunately, on March 23rd, but we're hoping to re-employ as many of those as possible.
Social distancing rules will dramatically change his business, so the Brisbane restaurant owner wants plenty of notice before doors open.
I think the most important thing is that we're aware of what that could cost as well, and making sure that we can at least reach our break-even targets.
Businesses need dates. They need certainty to protect those local jobs.
Restaurants and cafes are expected to get the green light soon.
So, of course, that is front and centre. We need to get people back to work. We need to get people back into jobs.
Tomorrow, the Premier will meet with representatives from the industry to firm up a time frame. But forget a night on the town for now.
Let me make it very clear. Nightclubs are much further down the track.
Gyms are also further down the list.
That's all down the track.
The LNP has mapped out its own path to reopen the economy in 4 stages, from the end of this month to mid-July.
This is a starting point. More than happy for Anastasia Palaszczuk to have a look at the plan.
The opposition admits its plan is based on the same health advice which is being made public by the government. The Premier insists she doesn't want to give businesses false hope, but will release more details after National Cabinet meets on Friday. And with no new cases again overnight, Queenslanders continue to lead the way out of COVID life.
It's really important, in fact, as a nation that we all do this, because otherwise we're not going to be able to remove those travel restrictions. And I think that's where we want to go.
Claire Barnes for 10 News First.
The federal government is now openly urging the states to lift more COVID-19 restrictions to try to stop the economy from bleeding out. At the same time, Canberra finally started paying the JobKeeper payments today, but even that drew some criticism.
The Prime Minister took a call from Her Majesty overnight.
To be able to tell the Queen last night that the people of Australia were measuring up was a moment of great pride.
This morning, the Treasurer was out spruiking the economic need to lift the lockdowns.
For every week the restrictions remain in place, there's a $4 billion hit to the economy.
But the real battleground is the $130 billion jobs package.
The JobKeeper payments will start to flow from today.
More than 5 weeks after the package was announced.
By botching this JobKeeper scheme, the government is making itself part of the problem and not part of the solution.
The opposition unhappy with the hundreds of thousands of workers excluded, forced onto unemployment benefits instead.
What the Treasurer doesn't seem to recognise is that the longer the unemployment queues get during this crisis, the longer it will take Australia to recover.
Actually, he does recognise that reality.
The longer people stay unemployed, the harder it is to get them back into a job.
By excluding so many casuals from the payment, it's just a risk Josh Frydenberg seems willing to take.
Will you take personal responsibility in the years to come if it takes a long time for that unemployment rate to fall?
We accepted a definition which is established in the Fair Work Act as to what is a long-term casual, and we applied that.
Defining away an unemployment rate set to rise into double digits.
A JobKeeper is a good idea being badly implemented, badly communicated, and too many workers are left out and left behind.
Peter Van Onselen for 10 News First.
Scott Morrison has lashed out at the head of the Ruby Princess Commission, describing his interrogation of a health official as aggressive and out of line. It comes as a cruise ship worker revealed Border Force officers knew there were suspected cases on board before the ship disembarked.
He's an independent commissioner tasked with getting to the truth, but now he's being questioned by the PM.
But I found that a bit out of line, Ray, and I think to see her reduced to that under that sort of aggressive line of what would appear questioning, I would hope that Mr Walker would reflect on that.
It was this exchange yesterday that's under attack.
Could you explain yourself, please? There has been a reprehensible shortcoming in New South Wales Health in that regard.
Commissioner Brett Walker SC interrogating a New South Wales health official over whether she ensured the Ruby Princess was following our health orders.
We did what we could. And if we could do it again, it would be very different.
Labor says it's the Prime Minister who's out of line.
It is independent and it must remain independent, and the Prime Minister intervening in this and making commentary on this is entirely inappropriate.
The Special Commission today heard more evidence, this time from Carnival Australia's port agent. She told them she discussed isolated COVID-19 suspected patients on board with Border Force officials before passengers disembarked.
They asked me about the people in isolation. They were aware of them already.
Who's they?
ABF.
So too were paramedics called to the ship at 3 a.m. on March 19th to retrieve 2 patients. Both, they were warned, were potentially infected with coronavirus. A discussion one AMBO had with the ship's doctor.
Someone or both of you referred to COVID, is that right?
At some point, I believe so, yes.
It seems the only ones not in the loop were other passengers and the rest of us. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
A Brisbane fashion designer who threw a knife at her husband and killed him will now walk free from prison early. Samantha Butler joins us now. Sam, Katie Castell could be out before Christmas.
Georgie, the 39-year-old will be eligible for parole on December 20, 3 years after she killed her husband Jared. He was home late from work in December 2017, and that was enough to send her over the edge. Castell flung a 20-centimetre kitchen knife at Jared, and it pierced his heart. She pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 9 years jail in March last year. But given no parole date was set, her lawyers argued that was manifestly excessive, especially given her early guilty plea and remorse. Today, the Court of Appeal agreed, ruling she be eligible for parole after serving a third of her sentence instead of half.
It just doesn't help all the future people there. Now, we've lost, Jared's gone, but there's still children to protect.
Georgie, one of those is the couple's little boy. He was just 4 years old at the time and was at home when his father was killed.
Thank you, Sam. A Sydney woman has recounted her horror after she was allegedly drugged by her own husband. He's accused of poisoning her with sedatives stolen from a hospital, the final act in an alleged campaign of domestic violence.
The photos show a happy couple, but behind closed doors it was a different story. Last night, police were called to their Sydney home to investigate a sinister crime. Jyotika Singh claims yesterday at around 11 a.m. she was feeling unwell and dehydrated, so her husband Yugendra suggested he hook her up to a saline drip.
I said to him that I wanted to go to the hospital, and he said because of the COVID thing, it's not safe to go to the hospital.
It's alleged Yugendra, a nurse at Liverpool Hospital, instead filled the drip with a drug to poison his wife of 19 years.
I was very wobbly and disorientated, and I was blacking out a little bit.
8 hours later, when she came to, she called police.
That something wrong has happened and there was something not right with me, and then I decided to call the cops.
45-year-old Singh was arrested while his wife spent the night in hospital. Officers seized a number of items from the home, including the drug propofol, a strong anaesthetic used to sedate patients for surgery. Police will allege Singh stole it from his workplace. Police allege they have security vision that shows Mr. Singh going to the boot of his car and taking out boxes of medication over a 5-hour period. He allegedly told police that that was medication he took from his workplace for a pest control problem because he couldn't afford a professional. He faced court today charged with 2 domestic violence charges, including using poison to endanger life and common assault, as well as larceny and possessing a prescribed restricted substance. He remains behind bars and was refused bail. Steve Hart for 10 News First.
Coming up, the routine traffic stop that uncovered $800,000 worth of cannabis. Also, the Gold Coast ready for takeoff, the new push to reconnect flights across the ditch. Plus, industry bloom, how Mother's Day is delivering a budding boost to southeast businesses. And in sport, things are slowly getting back to the way they were as NRL clubs hit the training paddock.
Poe's doing a cake as well.
going to be head-to-head with Poe, which is, like, crazy. I'm not a baker. If I do better than her, I'll be like, yes!
They're not just baking cakes.
How would you feel if you learnt that Poe was doing the exact same?
Hayden Quinn Baking, how will this go?
The Battle of the Cakes, 7:30 tonight.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back. Hey, I'm getting you right back. 'Cause I'm gonna sit around living like that. So clap it back. Clap it, clap, clap. Alright, so clap it back. Hey.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc.
Some people have more important things to do than watch racing on a weekend. Some people. Catch every race this autumn with Sky Live Vision. Tab, long may we play.
Gamble responsibly.
We remain dedicated to helping Australians. We've introduced a help program with a range of relief options to assist customers currently in need. Call us to find out how we can tailor help options for you.
Lendi is helping thousands of households save on average about $2,832 in interest over the next year on their home loans. That's millions in savings for Aussies when they need it most. How can Lendi help you save?
When life gives you dirtiness, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness. With products to keep every surface free from spills, dirt and allergens. For a clean and healthy home, Godfrey's Cleanliness.
Domino's $5 pizzas are incredible value. They're made with fresh dough and vine-ripened tomato sauce, topped with stretchy and tastier mozzarella, and served with total peace of mind, thanks to zero contact pickup from Domino's.
At Bunnings, we're here to help with some simple projects you can do while you're at home, like getting started on that veggie patch. You can shop online, order what you need, and we'll bundle it up for you.
Bunnings Warehouse.
It's like having the warehouse at your fingertips.
Well, good afternoon as we start to wrap up another day. A nice big moon heading out towards the east there, up into the night sky, the run around the city. Not doing too badly at this stage. The Riverside Expressway Captain Cook Bridge, we'll show you that in just a couple of seconds. In the meantime, some busy conditions here on Coronation Drive coming in towards North Quay, and in particular heading out towards Toowong as well. The Riverside Expressway Captain Cook Bridge, by the time you get to that for that outbound run from the city, that's not looking too bad. Bit of traffic coming in off the Pacific Motorway, but looking fairly good as well. I'm Dave Andrews, thanks to ABC Reading Eggs, and Georgie, another check coming up later in the bulletin.
We'll see you again soon. Thanks, Dave. Police have picked up more than they bargained for during a routine border patrol. A huge haul of cannabis was uncovered during a traffic stop on the Mount Lindsay Highway. 4.4 kilograms of the drug, worth more than $800,000, were packed into pillowcases. A later search of a Lindsay Creek property uncovered more drugs as well as money and gel blasters. A 21-year-old man and 16-year-old boy are now facing multiple drugs charges. The push to resume international flights from New Zealand to the Gold Coast is growing. At the southern end of the state, a city is at breaking point after losing every type of tourist in an instant.
Cut off from Brisbane by distance, isolated from New South Wales by a border shutdown and its airport locked off from the world, the thriving tourism hub of the southern Gold Coast is on its knees.
April was probably nearly 100%, getting up to 95% to 100, and we're at 2%, I would think, occupancy.
Now more than ever, they want talks of a trans-Tasman travel bubble between the East Coast and New Zealand to become a reality.
What we need to do is make the rest of Queensland, the rest of the country, and indeed the rest of the Pacific reunite with the Gold Coast and make it their playground once again.
Kiwis are the city's biggest international market. Their arrival could make all the difference. With a large expat community, demand is expected to be high.
Any extra people that we could get coming in from New Zealand, it would be just good for the country, it'd be just good for every business around town.
They're not the only ones keen to take to the skies. 70% of business for Gold Coast Skydive is dependent on interstate and international tourists. They want the borders opened and drive restrictions lifted to return to the air.
It means that we can get the doors open again on a much smaller scale, but at least we're operating, we can put some parachutes back in the sky.
As the Gold Coast Airport expands to increase capacity, its boss says a reopening of popular domestic routes could have similar results.
I hope we really get the domestic travel happening. Sydney and Melbourne are the biggest feeders of traffic into the Gold Coast.
Matthew Howard for 10 News First.
With no dining in allowed at cafes and restaurants this Mother's Day, business is blooming for florists. We're spending up big on flowers to show how much we care, and it seems locally grown flowers are all the rage now that imports have dried up.
Forget about toilet paper and pasta, flowers are becoming the new panic purchase as dutiful sons and daughters prepare for Mother's Day. And florists are
super flat out, which is amazing. That's what we want.
Supply has tightened in recent weeks. Imports have plummeted and domestic growers have made up the shortfall as best they can. Self-isolation has also triggered a surge in demand for home deliveries, putting extra pressure on the industry.
It is harder to get things because their supply is a little low at the moment due to the high demand and everything going on.
But there's plenty of stock at the Brisbane flower market. Angie Bolton bought some chrysanthemums for Mum, who's in a nursing home and only allowed 2 visitors on Sunday.
So it's going to be difficult for a large family to sort of, draw straws to see who goes and visits Mum.
Cafe owner Damien Jacqueline is making Mother's Day hampers brimming with flowers and chocolates for his customers.
Something to spoil because obviously this Mother's Day is going to be a bit different, no going out for brunch and lunch, so we all thought we can take it to them.
Prices are a bit higher than usual this year, thanks to the constraints on supply. Florists say to keep bunches cost-effective, go for seasonal mixes and preferred colour schemes rather than specific flowers. Brendan Savage for 10 News First.
Well, time now for an early weather check. Josh, light showers for the southeast today.
Yeah, light the optimal word, Georgie, that is for sure. We had those showers push across areas of southeast Queensland. They did track across during the first part of today, delivering some areas with a little bit of rainfall. Areas like Stratty picked up 11 millimetres into the rain gauge since 9 o'clock this morning. Elsewhere, though, it was relatively light. Areas like Bribie Island, Deagon, Dayborough picking up around about 1 millimetre into the gauge there. Other areas did remain dry as those showers were hit and missed, but temperatures, well, slightly above average. Brisbane hit 25, that's one above. We hit 24 at the sunny coast, 25 degrees at the Gold Coast and Logan. We hit the same mark in Ipswich, 24 is the top in Caboolture and Redcliffe, and 20 degrees the maximum temperature for Toowoomba. We'll have all the weather details, though, coming up at around about 5 to 6, Georgie.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Josh. Ahead, scientists on edge amid fears of a mutant strain of coronavirus. Also, a 5-year-old in the hot seat in search of a fast car. And meet the aged care crooner you can't help falling in love with.
As a parent, you ask, what's the best way to support my child? From first words to gaining confidence for new adventures, you're right there by their side. Wherever they are in their learning journey, ABC Reading Eggs is there to help you. Start your ABC Reading Eggs journey today.
Hey, Megan, it's Agatha.
Good luck tomorrow. I can't wait for our babies to meet. Me neither.
Oh, he's perfect.
He's not here.
No, they took him for a blood test.
Who took him?
A nurse.
Did the nurse have a name tag? Where is our baby? Our baby. Our baby.
The secrets she keeps tonight after MasterChef.
Amy has always helped Australians get back on the road. But now, more than ever, it's vital those on the front line get to where they need to be. That's why we're now offering free roadside assist to all doctors, nurses, hospital staff and first responders Australia-wide until the end of the year. Amy and non-Amy customers. Here's to supporting the everyday heroes who are supporting the rest of us. To take advantage of this offer, go to amy.com.au.
Lucky you're with Amy.
My attempts to quit smoking are behind me. These little ones are my future. Nicobate mini lozenges helps relieve sudden cravings fast so you can focus on what's important. When you're real about taking the next step, choose Nicobate.
The world's most exotic fragrances are made by nature. That's why we've created Botanica fragrances, infused with natural ingredients that are responsibly sourced. Botanica by Airwick.
Their doors might be closing, but they're always open on eBay. Stay home, shop online and help support 40,000 Aussie retailers.
JB stores are open for business with the hottest deals. Sony Truly Wireless Noise Cancelling headphones for $2.99. Or these Sony Premium headphones for $3.95. And $450 off this Garmin Fenix 5S Sports Watch. Buy in store, online, click and collect or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
Righto. How about we get stuck into it, eh?
Get a load of that.
Oh, how good.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hyundai's end of financial year sale is on. Get great value across our eye-catching range. Like the Hyundai i30 Hatch with the confidence of a 7-year warranty. And end of financial year bonuses on selected SUVs, including the Hyundai Tucson. And 7-seat petrol V6 Hyundai Santa Fe. Hyundai's end of financial year sale. See it to believe it.
This Saturday with Sportsbet at 3 tracks for races 1 to 6. Finish second or third and get up to $50 back in bonus bets.
BSI! So BS responsibly with Sportsbet. We'll be watching.
Life's changed for all of us, but Bupa's here to help. Because isolation shouldn't mean you're on your own. Because you can't get out, we'll help you at home. Because our health has never been so important. And because by staying apart, we'll get through this together. Bupa, because life happens.
Hayden versus Poe, baking the exact same cake.
Here we go, Hayden.
7:30 tonight.
Hello there. The COVID-19 lockdown has delivered more record-breaking economic news. In March, spending on groceries and alcohol jumped more than 24%. That's the strongest rise in the history of the Bureau of Statistics series, while cafes, restaurants and takeaway food sales went the other way, recording their biggest ever drop. Overall retail trade for March rose 8.5%, but forget toilet paper and pasta, we're loving canned and cuppa soup. Sales there jumped 180%. Now, it turns out a lot of Australians have decided the COVID-19 lockdown is a good time to dabble in our volatile stock market, but the country's corporate regulator says stop it. ASIC is warning mum and dad investors against chasing quick profits because it says they're losing big. In one recent week, for instance, $250 million. It says they're heavy losses that could not happen at a worse time for families and that even market professionals struggle to get it right. So, how did investors go today? The market ended in the red, but Myer revealed it'll reopen 5 of its stores in Queensland this Friday. CBA, though, will temporarily close at least 100 branches from tomorrow. About 500 staff are being redeployed to work in call centres or help out online. JB Hi-Fi shares up after a bumper sales result. To the dollar, it's still up against the US, buying 64.4 US cents. And that's finance.
Scientists fear a mutant strain of the coronavirus has evolved from the original outbreak in Wuhan. It's now stronger and has claimed lives in Europe and America. But it's the UK that is still in the grips of the biggest COVID fight.
From bad to worse, the UK has now overtaken Italy's death toll, making it the worst in Europe with nearly 30,000 dead.
We've never experienced anything like this first stage of COVID-19. In terms of the scale of the lives lost, but also the lockdown that it has required.
And it gets ever worse. The key scientist who shaped the UK's response and recommended a lockdown has been forced to quit after he broke the rules to see his married lover. With leadership like that, it's probably not surprising the UK is lagging in its response. It's miles behind Australia. Tomorrow, Britain will only just start testing a COVID-19 tracing app on the Isle of Wight. The UK claims that while it's been slow to launch, its app better protects data and privacy.
It's been designed so that your personal detail is not recorded to any extent. All it will record is your general area postcode
In the Northern Hemisphere, summer is just around the corner, and with it hope that coronavirus cases will ease the same way the flu does in the warmer weather. But scientists fear the virus may be mutating into a stronger strain, and that's why there's a higher death toll in America and here in Europe. The mutation was documented by scientists in the US. If it continues to evolve, it will be a major setback for the development of a vaccine. That right now is the major beacon of hope in nations where the death toll is still rapidly climbing. Phoebe Bowden for 10 News First, London.
US President Donald Trump has broken his quarantine, heading to Arizona to tour a factory making face masks. Seemingly forgetting that handshakes are still a no-go, Trump and the governor had to make do with an awkward half hug. Refusing to wear a mask himself, he toured the plant filled with workers, following the rules with a Guns N' Roses anthem in the background. Trump announced earlier he was disbanding his expert coronavirus task force, but will retain key staff like Dr. Anthony Fauci. New projections show the US could see more than 3,000 deaths a day by June. A huge blaze has engulfed a high-rise tower in the United Arab Emirates, forcing residents to grab what they could and flee. The fire started on the 10th floor and quickly spread, fuelled by highly flammable exterior cladding. Burning pieces of the building rained down onto the street, threatening to set cars and shops alight. Amazingly, only minor injuries were reported. A massive sandstorm has been filmed, slowly rolling towards the Niger capital. The huge plumes of dust blew in from the Sahara Desert. Sandstorms are becoming more common across West Africa as the dry season becomes more harsh. A 5-year-old boy has been caught behind the wheel of his parents' car driving down a busy highway in Utah. The young driver stunned police, who pulled him over for swerving across lanes. He told them he was heading to California to buy a Lamborghini because his mum wouldn't get him one.
Adrian isn't saying much tonight. He prefers to let his driving do the talking.
Police said I drive good.
That's him behind the wheel of his parents' SUV 5 kilometres from home. A highway trooper pulls him over for swerving.
And I was actually thinking it might be a medical issue.
But no, it was 5-year-old Adrian.
Where did you learn how to drive a car?
On the edge of his seat, his little legs barely reaching the brakes.
I helped him get the car into park and shut the vehicle down, and then we started looking for means to contact his parents.
The young driver immediately confessed his plan.
California.
A 12-hour drive away, telling police
that he wanted to buy a Lamborghini when he got there, and he showed a wallet with $3.
But what Adrian lacked in money, he made up for in ambition, taking his mum's keys after she refused to buy him the sports car. He waited for his babysitting sister to fall asleep.
Oh, I lost it.
Before making his getaway.
How does a little 5-year-old, 11 years younger than me, do it, and I can't?
Thanks to Adrian's driving, or probably more luck, no one was hurt and he was let off with a warning. An adventure of a lifetime, and only 2 more lifetimes before the 5-year-old is allowed back behind the wheel. Eamon Ashton Atkinson for 10 News First in the United States.
A 71-year-old at a Brisbane aged care facility has had staff and residents all shook up performing a special Elvis concert to lift spirits. John Pascoe's been practising for weeks and we couldn't help but fall in love with his performance.
Aged care resident by morning, the king by afternoon tea.
Hi, I'm John Pascoe, alias Elvis Presley.
When 71-year-old John shared his secret love of singing to the staff at Anglicare Southern Queensland, it was clear a little bit of Memphis was about to arrive at St Martin's.
Suspicion torments my heart.
His repertoire was varied.
There goes my baby. There goes my heart.
His backup dancers socially distanced. And his fans were just absolutely delighted.
I really love watching John perform Elvis.
John decided coronavirus had everyone feeling a little hound dog down, so he shook things up with a 20-minute concert streamed online.
Yeah, I felt very good being able to do that and please people and get smiles on people's faces.
He's even gone viral in the US.
So far apart.
Not bad for someone who hasn't sung in front of a crowd for 60 years, and he can't wait to do it again.
It just makes me feel glad all over, as Dave Clark Five used to say. If I had nothing else to do but sing, that would suit me.
So from all of us, John, thank you very much.
I'm little lonely, though the way I feel tonight.
Georgina Hill for 10 News First.
Oh, good on you, John. Well, stay with us. Tonight's top stories follow the break. Also, armed and on the run. The major police hunt for a hammer-wielding robber and his partners in crime. And towing the line, how our obsession with caravanning could be the driving force behind an economic revival.
Tonight, an abattoir becomes the next COVID-19 hotspot. So how do we avoid more clusters?
Restrictions could soon be lifted, but is the idea of sharing space with strangers again hard to get your head around?
And the Queen has given Scott Morrison a call. The pair discuss COVID-19, the bushfires, and whether or not local stars had started working on season 3 of the smash hit show How to Stay Married. That's what I've been told. Don't fight it.
All that and more coming up at 6:30.
Poe's doing a cake as well.
Hayden versus the Cake Queen.
How would you feel if you learnt that Poe was doing the exact same?
This is my chance. If I do better than her, I'll be like, yeah!
The Battle of the Cakes, 7:30 tonight.
We are Regional Australia.
We are winemakers.
We are coffee roasters.
Fashion designers.
Potters.
Bakers.
Shopkeepers. We're asking for your support because the wine is pouring.
The kiln is firing. And we're open for business.
Because where you shop matters.
Discover how Visa's network connects regional businesses to customers across Australia and the world.
And welcome back to the Sportsbet Elite Average Games. Last chance for the Aussies, bombing for gold.
They need to pull something big out of their budgies here, JB.
Oh, silly salmon into a horsey! Massive!
I've never seen one in the wild, but that is splash tag ridiculous.
Scores are in, and they've done it!
Showers of gold.
A make-it-look-easy moment from Sportsbet.
With Belong, you get 10 gigs of mobile data for $25 a month. That's 10 gigs of family time, plus unlimited international calls and texts to selected countries for $5 extra. Together, we're different. Belong.
When cold and flu symptoms strike, a kiss can make them feel better. But for effective relief through the night, there's Nurofen for children. Starts to reduce fever from 15 minutes and lasts for up to 8 hours. Nurofen for children.
For over 40 years, Canning Vale has invested in quality and design, making exclusive luxury homewares attainable. And now you can enjoy premium quality at up to 75% off. With Canning Vale's Luxury for Less sale, make home a sanctuary of warmth and style with generous discounts on the distinctive Canning Vale range, all with 100-day home trial and free returns. Shop online now using code FREE for fast free shipping to your door, up to 75% off for a limited time. CanningVale.com.
How safe are those things? Shame.
At Toyota, we're all about your safety. That's why our dealerships and service centres are staying open. Older feeling. Toyota.
This Saturday with Sportsbet at 3 tracks for races 1 to 6. Finish second or third and get up to $50 back in bonus bets.
BSI! So BS responsibly with Sportsbet. We'll be watching.
Hi, I'm Tammy Barton. I started my budget to help people do better with their money, just like Alyssa and Pete.
Before we joined my budget, we lived in a constant state of anxiety and stress, and it was debilitating.
Every time the phone rang, it was just like,
What now?
Now we have financial freedom. We've paid off all of our debt and we can take that money and invest it in our financial security for the future. And honestly, we have my budget to thank for that.
Join the 110,000 Australians who are now doing better with their money and live your life free from money worries. Call My Budget today to book your free consultation.
Can't wait for our babies to meet. We know that.
Oh, he's perfect.
He's not here.
No.
Who took him?
A nurse.
Did the nurse have a name tag? Where is our baby?
The secrets she keeps on 10 continues tonight after MasterChef.
Well, hello again. Final check as we wrap it up for another night on the roads. The Pacific Motorway looking pretty good. Bit of traffic out through Greenslopes, but certainly not too bad. Bit of traffic coming out of the valley, actually, over the Story Bridge in towards Kangaroo Point and out towards the Pacific Motorway. Riverside Expressway, Captain Cook Bridge around the city exits not doing too badly this afternoon. And a fairly good run too on the Western Freeway outbound from Mount Cootha out towards Fig Tree Pocket. That is doing A-OK. And no problems heading up the Gateway from Nudgee all the way through to the Bruce Highway. That is looking pretty good as well. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to ABC Reading Eggs. Have a great night tonight. And I'll check the roads again for you tomorrow.
Tonight's top stories, 5 people are critical with significant burns after an underground explosion at the Grosvenor mine near Moranbah. Domestic violence is worsening under coronavirus. Authorities say attacks are more brutal and severe, with victims left with nowhere to hide in isolation. And the Premier will hold crucial talks tomorrow with industry leaders to nail down a time frame to reopen cafes and restaurants. A trio is on the run tonight after holding up a Park Ridge service station. One man stormed the business just before 8 p.m, armed with a hammer. He threatened a 23-year-old employee to hand over the night's takings as another man and a woman kept watch with a wood saw and a knife. The 3 thieves then made a quick getaway. Police are hoping anyone with information will come forward. Yet another business sector is pleading for the easing of COVID-19 restrictions to be fast-tracked. The caravan and camping industry says it's taken a staggering financial hit as many struggle to hang on to tourists travelling and spending again.
Joyce Bauer won't mind me telling everyone.
Here we are. We're not going far.
She's quietly going a little stir-crazy for the open road.
We need to get back on the road.
Near neighbour and Queensland Caravan Club President Adrian Skinner shares Joyce's desire for far horizons.
It's certainly something we're all missing.
Then there's the economic hit to regional centres missing out on the grey nomad, as well as caravanning and camping dollars generally, stymied by COVID-19 travel bans.
So even in April alone, in our industry, we were down over 200 million, and you could amplify that for what these towns are feeling right now.
The trickle-down impacts have also been equally devastating. Tom Jackson's business is building all-terrain caravans and trailers, but customers have been scarce for months now.
Yeah, you've been looking at about 80 or 90%. 80 to 90 has dropped.
Caravanners and campers say they're more than ready to be the completely COVID-safe sector. They're a one-stop dining, showering and toileting arrangement on wheels, beautifully isolated if necessary, for as long as it takes.
They're perfectly suited to do the right thing in a staged fashion.
State governments across the country all agreeing they won't be rushed.
Right now we're working with industry to get back to business, so when restrictions are lifted, we're ready to roll.
Leaving Joyce to spin her mobile home wheels, but go nowhere.
It's due for registration and insurance. I don't want to sit in there for another 6 months.
Tim Collins for 10 News First.
You're a big camping fan. I bet the kids are dying to get back out on it.
Yeah, absolutely itching to get back out in the great outdoors, Georgie. Cannot wait.
Yeah. Well, it is sport time now, Jono. The players had their say in the vaccination debate.
Yeah, it's certainly a hot topic at the moment, Georgie. Thank you for that. Hello, coming up, they're standing united against the Prime Minister's no jab, no play promise. That's next. Also, the Storm hunker down in Albury despite their council ban. And another high-profile stoush ends in a bitter fallout at Rugby Australia.
As a parent, you ask, what's the best way to support my child? From first words to gaining confidence for new adventures, you're right there by their side. Wherever they are on their learning journey, ABC Reading Eggs is there to help you. Start your ABC Reading Eggs journey today.
Poe's doing a cake as well. It's going to be head-to-head with Poe, which is like crazy. I'm not a baker. If I do better than her, I'll be like, yes!
They're not just baking cakes.
How would you feel if you learnt that Poe was doing the exact same?
Hayden Quinn Baking, how will this go?
The Battle of the Cakes, 7:30 tonight.
Bluey McDonald with 32 items in the Forgot a Grocery bag lifting.
He's brought home the chockies with the milk, the bread, the bog roll, and saved himself 45 cents.
Another make it look easy moment from Sportsbet.
Domino's $5 pizzas are incredible value. They're made with fresh dough and vine-ripened tomato sauce, topped with stretchy and tastier mozzarella, and served with total peace of mind, thanks to zero contact pickup from Domino's.
In tough times, Queenslanders stand strong. We've weathered all kinds of natural disaster together. And while this crisis is like no other, RACQ will continue to be here for you. On the roads, in the skies, and from our homes. It's about Queenslanders helping Queenslanders. For members doing it tough financially, visit racq.com/help or call 13 1905. RACQ is here for you.
When cold and flu symptoms strike, a kiss can make them feel better. But for effective relief through the night, there's Nurofen for children. Starts to reduce fever from 15 minutes and lasts for up to 8 hours. Nurofen for children.
Shopping with Supercheap Auto is now even easier with new contact-free click and collect. Order online, head to your local store when your order is ready, and we'll deliver it to your car boot contact-free. Now available at Supercheap Auto.
Dude, we need some space.
We've decided that we want to have a baby. Ugh.
Hey guys, moving on from the old you or just need some storage? Get a Taxi Box. We deliver, you pack, then we store till you need it back.
It's the perfect time to get cosy with winter home essentials from Maya. With 40% off selected quilts, pillows, protectors and blankets. And 40% off when you buy 2 or more items of loose cookware.
Maya, my store.
You don't give in. You don't give up. You push on when most would have pushed off. You lend a hand, whether a hand was asked for or not. It's called Aussie Spirit for good reason, because it takes spirit to get through times like these. Lucky you've got it in spades. It's what inspires us to be by your side to help. Together we'll get through this. We always do. Search Toyota, here to help.
This Saturday with Sportsbet at 3 tracks for races 1 to 6. Finish second or third and get up to $50 back in bonus bets.
So be as responsibly with Sportsbet. We'll be watching.
The COVID-19 cluster that started inside an abattoir. More at 6:30.
Welcome back. The Prime Minister may have thrown a spanner in the works for the NRL's anti-vaxxers, insisting it should be a no jab, no play. But it's proving unpopular with some players, with those who've had the flu shot defending their teammates' choice not to.
Bryce Cartwright's one of the game's most high-profile anti-vaxxers, signing a waiver that cleared him to join his Titans teammates this morning. But his decision to decline the flu shot has become a political football after the Prime Minister weighed in.
Look, when I was Social Services Minister, I started the no jab, no play rule into the childcare facilities, and I think the same rule applies there, no jab, no play.
ScoMo's got his political parties maybe a bit mixed up there. The coalition's the ones that's supposed to try and fight for our freedom.
Cartwright's not the only one to sign the waiver. Other NRL staff and players have refused the jab due to allergies and personal reasons.
He's well and truly able to you know, have the freedom to decide what goes in his body and what doesn't.
Everyone's got their own opinion, and, you know, all you can do is support their choices.
Players return to training across the competition today, but it's not like it used to be.
35.8. Or am I 35.8?
Tom Flegler was absent from Broncos training after being tested for COVID-19. It's come back negative, but he won't return until he's feeling better. Brisbane's training facility passed inspection from their COVID cop as captain Alex Glenn counts down the days until his first game of 2020.
It's helped me in this isolation period to stay motivated and stay, you know, ready and keen for the season, because everyone knows the first 2 games I was unable to captain the side.
It was hard to tell if there was a smile or a grimace on Latrell Mitchell's face after copping a barrage of criticism in recent weeks, and his Rabbitohs teammates have clearly had enough.
He's constantly hounded. He's a human being at the end of the day, and I think we need to give him a bit of space.
Veronica Eggleton for 10 News First.
The Melbourne Storm have sidestepped a late-night bid by the Albury City Council to stop them using the border town's facilities. Blocked from council venues, the Storm forked out $3,000 to hire a field normally used by a rival code.
First day back for the Purple Army and all in good nick. When your coach is Craig Bellamy, you wouldn't dare come back underdone.
Craig's a grumpy old, I can't say but he's just whipping the bloody horse, you know what I mean? Like, he's making sure that we're doing our bit. Just that fear factor, I reckon, is enough.
It's lucky they're even on the paddock today. At the 11th hour, the Albury Council decided to ban the Storm from using council facilities.
I think that really sends the wrong message in the community to have one set of rules for us and one set of rules for others.
The local AFL team came to the rescue, granting access to their field.
We weren't aware that the Storm had entered into a private agreement with the Albury Tiger Club. I'm certainly disappointed with that decision. You know, it obviously does present the same risks to our community.
Hopefully by next week, the Victorian government allows the Storm to train back in Melbourne. Now, Josh Addo-Carr stood up in front of his teammates to deliver a heartfelt apology. Last week, he broke social distancing laws. He was charged with firearms offences and put the restart of the whole comp in jeopardy.
He was genuinely remorseful for what he'd done. He realised that he'd made a mistake.
I think that speaks volumes to stand in front of your group and just say that you stuffed up, and you'll do everything you can to not make it right, but to do his best for the team going forward.
And some good news for the Storm. Felice Kafusi has taken up his option for 2021. Emma Lawrence for 10 News First.
More disarray for Rugby Australia after would-be chairman Peter Wiggs suddenly resigned this morning. Only yesterday, as Supercars chairman, Wiggs was downplaying claims he could be the financial saviour of supercars and rugby. But a bitter email exchange with RA interim chairman Paul McLean over Wiggs's plans to fast-track Australian Olympic Committee boss Matt Carroll as chief executive triggered his resignation this morning. Wiggs quit after only 37 days on the board, who named Rod Clark as interim CEO after Raelene Castle's bitter exit. Tonight's round 5 of the Supercars E-Series gets to burn virtual rubber on Belgium's famous Spa circuit. Among the 5 wildcard competitors, F1 driver Lando Norris, who's one of the world's best online racers. Here's Neil Crompton and Matt White.
Well, yet again, the global spotlight will shine on the E-Series tonight. Lando Norris is not just a Formula One star with McLaren, he is also huge in this online gaming world. And he's the second F1 driver since Max Verstappen's starring role in round 2 to join the E-Series grid. Once again, Neil Crompton alongside me. Crompo, we are talking world class here.
Yeah, Matty, and he's just 20 years of age. And when you track his history throughout the junior categories en route to becoming a Formula One driver, he's been a champion every single year, with the exception of Formula 2, where he was a runner-up. Now, even in Formula 1 last year, 11th on debut, and people like Scott McLaughlin, our series leader, are fearing the pace that this guy's got. He's one to watch tonight.
Looking forward to tonight. We are at the world-famous Spa circuit in Belgium for this one. You'll catch it all live on 10 Play at 7 o'clock Eastern.
Athletes have often been accused of living in a bubble, not so much the fans. But in this world of social distancing, that's what it took for a young boy to deliver a safe and ceremonial first pitch at the Korean Baseball League. While there was no other fans in the stands for the start of the delayed season, we still think this kid was pumped up to get his chance on the diamond. And while it was probably a little deflating that his team lost, we'll still let him roll away with our play of the day. He's certainly taking safety measures out there, isn't he?
In a COVID-safe bubble there, base bubble.
Anyway, sports slowly getting
Yeah, thank you, Jono. Stay with us. Josh will have all the weather details after the break.
Poe's doing a cake as well.
Hayden versus the Cake Queen.
How would you feel if you learnt that Poe was doing the exact same?
This is my chance. If I do better than her, I'll be like, yeah!
The Battle of the Cakes on 10.
It continues 7:30 tonight.
Let's do it, baby.
It's on, mate.
Make this week one to remember. Run second, third or even fourth and get money back in bonus up to $50 on selected races every day. PointsBet.
Should I be worried? With COVID-19 Health Assist, eligible members can receive health advice from hundreds of Medibank healthcare experts at no extra cost. See how we're providing better support today.
With Light and Easy, you can still enjoy a huge variety of delicious healthy meals in the comfort and safety of your home, thanks to their chefs and dietitians and their contactless delivery service. In fact, Light and Easy has recently been rated Australia's #1 healthy meal delivery service, scoring 5 stars for customer satisfaction as well as taste, variety and freshness, all things you'll find on their autumn menu. Enjoy delicious healthy meals with Light and Easy's contactless award-winning delivery. Order today.
Are you ready for over 50s designer resort style living, but are having trouble selling your home? At Palm Lake Resort, let us take the stress out of selling. We'll buy your home so you can start your new lifestyle today.
We had a phone call from Palm Lake with the most amazing offer. They offered to take our home from us and we could have this home up here. It was our dreams come true. It's unbelievable.
Sell your home stress-free and save money with no agent fees or commission. We'll even pay for your removal costs.
As soon as we walked in and looking at the homes, looking at the facilities, looking at how your lifestyle could be, you know, like what more can you want?
This special offer is for a limited time only. So contact us today to arrange a free appraisal. Palm Lake Resort. This is your time.
Ready for a change? Suncorp now has 0 monthly account keeping fees on all deposit accounts. That's on both personal accounts and business accounts. That's the Suncorp spirit.
Let's do it, baby.
It's on, mate.
Make this Saturday one to remember. Get best tote on all exotics on every race across all Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane and Adelaide races. PointsBet.
JobKeeper payments roll out, but not everyone is happy. Next.
The Queensland girl behind the wheel of the world's most expensive cars.
Look at this! There's no one inside this car. What?
From the suburbs of Brisbane.
Check this out!
To the splashy streets of Dubai. How supercar Blondie is breaking the internet. Meet her tomorrow on Studio 10.
It is weather time, Josh. A return to dry conditions tomorrow.
Yeah, it should be partly cloudy for the best part of Thursday across southeast Queensland. Georgia, we had a few isolated showers breeze in on those onshore winds today, but we should see plenty of breaks of sunshine as we get through tomorrow. We'll get to that extended forecast in just a moment. Let's get airborne across southeast Queensland as the moon just got up and out of bed across the city. An absolute beautiful sight. 25 degrees was the top in the city today, one above average for this time of year. And right now we're sitting on 20 degrees degrees, humidity at 57% and the winds at 4 kilometres per hour. Now, you may think that is a full moon. In fact, it's not. It's actually at 97.9%. The full moon is due tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. You should get a clear view during Thursday. Moving into the satellite tonight, and we've got clear skies, as mentioned, across a large portion of Queensland today. Just a bit of low cloud breezing in on those onshore winds across areas of the southern coast, central and northeast coast. Further south, we've got quite a decent cold front moving over the southern part of WA. In behind it, you've got all that speckled cloud, some very cold Antarctic air, again unleashing across southern parts of the country. Bit of high cloud in ahead of it across South Australia, New South Wales and also Victoria. But moving into the southeast, these were the showers that pushed across areas of Moreton Bay today. In fact, Straddie picked up around about 11 millimetres into the rain gauges since 9 o'clock this morning. Areas like Bribie, Deagon, Dayborough picking up around about 1 millimetre into the gauge, and other areas did remain essentially dry. So very isolated and very light showers as we got through Wednesday. As we get through tomorrow, though, our high pressure system maintained its position in the Tasman Seas, still producing some onshore winds for the Queensland coast. As a result of that, it will be the coastal exposed areas that will most likely see a shower as we get through tomorrow. We've got another cold front, though, pushing across southeastern Australia, entering the western areas of Victoria and Tasmania. This will be followed up by a second frontal system as it approaches the southwest of WA. Moving back closer to home, again, as mentioned, eastern areas probably seeing the best chance of the showers tomorrow, but we could see an increased chance through areas of the wet tropics. So areas of the northeast tropical coast, the adjacent inland, the Atherton Tablelands, also a slight chance of seeing a shower, and even parts of the central coast thrown into the mix as well. Moving further south into Sydney for Thursday, we're looking at top temperatures of 24 degrees, partly cloudy skies. A foggy start in Canberra, getting down to 4 degrees overnight. A little bit windy for Melbourne tomorrow as that frontal system approaches areas of Victoria. 21 the max, but probably feeling a little bit cooler than that once that frontal system moves through. 21 for Adelaide, chance of a shower tomorrow, along with Perth, 19 degrees, and Darwin going for sunny skies and a top of 33. So as mentioned, chance of a shower for Cairns and Atherton tomorrow. Should be dry for Townsville, 29 the max. 30 degrees on the way for Longreach with sunny skies, mostly sunny for Roma, 26, and it should be a dry day that will unfold for Rocky, Bundaberg, Maryborough and Gympie. For the southeast, partly cloudy, the slight chance of a shower along that coastal fringe, should be dry elsewhere. Overnight temperatures falling to between 9 and 15 degrees, with daytime temperatures reaching the low to mid-20s. We're going for 25 on the Golden Sunshine Coast, the same mark at Caboolture, 26 at Logan and 22 for Toowoomba. Out onto the bay, we've got south to southeasterly winds, 10 to 15 knots, relaxing back to around about 10 knots through the course of the afternoon, and the seas will remain below 1 metre tomorrow. Brisbane City, tops at 25 degrees, a bit of a carbon copy of today with the temperatures, one above average for this time of year. Looking pretty nice for the city over the next few days, 26 atop for Friday, 27 Saturday, and as you can see, warming up as we get to Sunday. Then a slight change will push through. That'll drop temperatures into Monday and Tuesday next week, down to around about 24 degrees, but staying dry nonetheless for Brisbane and Ipswich over the next few days. 26 tomorrow, 27 Friday, up to 28 Saturday, and peaking Sunday with 29 degrees. The extended forecast of the Golden Sunshine Coast coming up shortly.
A mine emergency in central Queensland. That developing story leads 10 News First tonight. In a moment, we'll cross live to the newsroom for the latest. Also, a new crisis for Queensland, the desperate search for a solution as domestic violence threatens more lives in lockdown. And our state of play, the Premier gets set to hold crucial talks to get business back up and running. Let's go back to Joe Hill for more on the explosion in central Queensland. Joe, the mine is now in lockdown.
As Georgia, the rest of the workers at the mine have now been evacuated and operations have ceased entirely. Anglo American is the company which runs the mine. It put out a statement saying it's contacted all of the families of the 5 injured workers and that its emergency response procedures are now in effect. The CFMEU says that union safety inspectors are on site as well. Now, their preliminary investigation seems to point at gas igniting on the longwall face in the underground mine. It says that these situations are the absolute worst nightmare for underground miners. As we go to air tonight, an emergency retrieval rescue mission is now underway to bring those injured workers back to Brisbane for treatment.
Retrieval services are on their way out to Moranbah Hospital at the moment. We believe the arrival will be around 6 p.m. this evening. They'll be working with the teams on the ground there to make sure the patients are stable and bring them back safely to the Brisbane area.
Now, Georgie, government mines inspectors are also on their way to Moranbah. It's around 1,000 kilometres north of Brisbane. They'll commence an investigation. You would imagine that will be one of several that are going to take place into this incident.
Thank you, Joe, with that update. It is shameful and disturbing, but as we go to air tonight, some victims of domestic violence are increasingly living in fear. The coronavirus is contributing to an alarming rise in attacks, more brutal and severe than usual. John Paul Gonzo joins us now. JP, the government is taking urgent action.
Georgie, Anastasia Palaszczuk has committed an extra $2 million to help domestic violence support services, and that is because they are seeing an increasing number of cases. And what is even more concerning is that they are more brutal and more severe than usual. Of course, authorities say we are experiencing a perfect storm. Alcohol consumption is up by 70%, and so many victims are trapped living with perpetrators. Making matters worse, some are too fearful to actually visit shelters for fear of contracting coronavirus. Today, the Premier also launched a virtual online summit bringing together experts, policymakers, victims, loved ones to work through these problems and hopefully find a solution.
If you are a victim, you are probably now at home 24 hours a day with a perpetrator who is watching your every move.
The reduction in sporting injuries and road trauma has been partially offset by trauma caused by domestic and family violence.
Bridges across Brisbane are bathed in purple tonight to remember lives lost to domestic and family violence. There would usually be a candlelight vigil, but with everything going on, that has been cancelled. Instead, Queenslanders at home are right now lighting a candle and having a minute's silence, vowing to never forget victims. Georgie?
Thank you, John Paul. The opposition is ramping up its pressure on the government to release more detail about when businesses can reopen. But as Claire Barnes reports, the Premier insists talks with the industry are well underway.
Well, the government has accused the opposition of giving businesses false hope after the LNP released its own plan to reopen the economy. Today, the opposition outlined its so-called roadmap to recovery, which is set out over 4 stages, starting with the reopening of cafes and restaurants by the end of this month. LNP leader Deb Frecklington says the industry needs to be given deadlines, but admits the plan is based on the same health advice being made public by the government.
Businesses need dates. They need certainty to protect those local jobs.
Tomorrow, the Premier will meet with representatives from the industry to firm up a time frame for cafes, restaurants and the tourism sector.
Of course, that is front and centre. We need to get people back to work. We need to get people back into jobs.
The push to reopen the economy was given another boost today after Queensland again recorded no new cases overnight.
Now to a significant development out of Sydney. The aged care watchdog is threatening to pull Anglicare's licence at Newmarch House, where 16 lives have been lost. Charlotte Goodlett is there with the latest.
We've seen an enormous development this afternoon in the Newmarch House saga, with the Aged Care Commission now announcing that it is going to step in and potentially revoke the licence of Anglicare if it does not meet a number of demands because of what's gone on inside this aged care home in Sydney's West. I'm here and I'm joined now by a loved one, a son of one of the residents inside the home, Anthony. Anthony, I was with you when you heard this news. How did you feel?
Yeah, great. It's about time. It's just about accountability, and there's a sense of urgency about getting the negative patient resident out as soon as possible.
And I mean, you guys have been here every single day campaigning for your loved ones, making sure they're not forgotten. Do you feel like this is a step in the right direction, and do you think it's enough?
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. Accountability is what we've been asking for, and we've been here for everybody, not just one person every day, and let's just hope it's the start of something good.
Because there's a lot of people still inside with a lot of people outside who love them a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's still a lot of issues to deal with apart from this, so this hopefully will be the start of dialogue anyway.
Hopefully we get some sort of result for you and everyone inside. Anglicare does now have until tomorrow at 5 p.m. to respond to the Aged Care Commission to agree to the demands that they've put in place, otherwise it will lose its licence.
South Australia has reached the first international milestone in the fight against COVID-19 with 2 weeks of no new cases diagnosed. The time frame significant because that's 1 full reproduction cycle of the virus. After 2 cycles, it can be declared defeated, but the state won't further relax restrictions ahead of the rest of the nation.
We really cannot be complacent. We still need to do all of the things we've been doing. We do not want to undo the good that we've already done.
South Australia also now only has 2 known coronavirus patients left, and neither is in hospital. A Brisbane fashion designer who killed her husband after throwing a knife at his heart could be free from jail by Christmas. The Court of Appeal today ruled Katie Castell's 9-year sentence was manifestly excessive.
In a moment of pure anger, Katie Ann Castell killed her husband and destroyed her family. The 35-year-old father was late home from work 5 days before Christmas 2017. It was enough to send his wife over the edge. She flung a 20-centimetre kitchen knife at him, the blade piercing his heart. The couple's little boy also home at the time.
He asks about Daddy every now and again. And you know, it's hard. You know, sometimes we'll just cry together because we both lost somebody.
Castell was sentenced to 9 years jail in March last year after pleading guilty to manslaughter. With no parole date set, her lawyers argued the sentence was manifestly excessive, especially given an early guilty plea and plenty of remorse. Today, the Court of Appeal agreed. 2 out of 3 judges ruled the 39-year-old should be eligible for parole on December 20 this year, exactly 3 years to the day after she killed her husband. Without the legal win, Castell would have been forced to serve at least half her sentence.
It just doesn't help all the future people there. Now, we've lost, Jared's gone, but there's still children to protect.
A child learning to live without his father, killed by someone who vowed to love him. Samantha Butler for 10 News First.
Coming up, the whistleblower who claims he was booted for disagreeing with Donald Trump. Also, the blue card shortfall that could sideline thousands of emergency volunteers. Plus, some food for the soul to help all creatures, great and small. And in sport, Latrell Mitchell's Rabbitohs teammates rally around the under siege star.
The backlash after the NRL's Melbourne Storm was shunned by an Aussie council, plus pet adoptions rise in lockdown. But what happens when normal life starts again? Sina.
At Yui, we're all about how you use or don't use your car. So we're giving our clients and new clients temporary relief on their car insurance premiums if they're using their cars less right now. Go to yui.com.au. Yui, you insured.
It's a difficult time for Aussie families right now. And this is true of our Subway family too. We can't change what's happening, but we can bring you a little something fresh, tasty and Australian grown to take your mind off things. And when we do, you'll know that your family is helping Aussie farmers, local communities and one of the thousands of small business owners across Australia. So thank you, from our family to yours.
And welcome back to the Sportsbet Elite Average Games. Last chance for the Aussies, bombing for gold.
They need to pull something big out of their budgies here, JB.
Oh, silly salmon into a horsey! Massive!
I've never seen one in the wild, but that is splash tag ridiculous.
Scores are in, and they've done it!
Showers of gold.
A make-it-look-easy moment from Sportsbet.
This Mother's Day, make your gift to Mum a thoughtful one with a big brand fragrance from Chemist Warehouse. There's Jimmy Choo 40ml for $39.99 or Marc Jacobs Daisy 100ml for $79.99 and Christian Dior J'adore 100ml $169.99. Shop online at chemistwarehouse.com.au. Select Click and Collect or call your local store to arrange contact-free delivery. Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day.
The world's most exotic fragrances are made by nature. That's why we've created Botanica Fragrances, infused with natural ingredients that are responsibly sourced. Botanica by Airwick.
It is the heart of the home, it's the heart of our family, it's the heart of our social life. We need it to last a long time, and that's where quality comes in. Every kitchen is different, every size is different, so we have such a great range here.
It's a nice feeling to walk into a brand new kitchen. We definitely make the whole process affordable and easy. So from start to finish, Bunnings makes it super easy to get your state-of-the-art kitchen for your budget.
So to create the amazing look without the big prices, beautiful kitchens at an affordable price that look amazing.
The espresso capsule from Lohr, the aluminium capsule designed to fit your Nespresso machine. Discover Lohr capsules and be captivated by a gold standard espresso.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of craving something that I can't have. I finally found the right snack.
Hey, Megan, it's Agatha.
Good luck tomorrow. I can't wait for our babies to meet. Me neither.
Oh, he's perfect.
He's not here.
No, they took him for a blood test.
Who took him?
A nurse.
Did the nurse have a name tag? Where is our baby?
The secrets she keeps tonight after MasterChef.
Thousands of volunteer firefighters and SES crews have been told their services won't be required if they don't get a blue card to work with children immediately. There's fears of a staffing shortage with 5,000 members already out the door.
Plans to see our firefighters and SES volunteers obtain Working with Children accreditation have been in the works for years, but it's now crunch time, and those who haven't signed up for the blue cards have received letters from the Commissioner.
The most recent letter has been quite to the point in saying that if you don't get a blue card, you cannot continue to serve with QFES.
We've got to have a drop-dead date. We're required by law.
The Rural Firefighters Association says almost 5,000 of the state's volunteers have been told they can't pull on a uniform or have walked away. Almost the same again are now in possession of the letters.
The fire service and the minister have gone about this in a completely unvolunteer-friendly way.
The association argues their suggestions for implementation have been repeatedly ignored, and the extra requirement has meant that some volunteers are no longer able to serve their communities.
We've got a number of brigade volunteers who've had criminal histories in relation to drug charges 20, 30 years ago.
But it's a small number among approximately 33,000 serving members. Officials are confident the losses can be covered.
We've done the assessment in terms of what that looks like. It doesn't have an impact on our capability.
And it's those operations that are crucial right now, ahead of another busy predicted fire season. The Rural Firefighters Association says this plan has been flawed from the outset, and they've repeatedly called on the Premier to step in.
So what's going to happen? No one's going to change course. They're about to hit the iceberg.
Those who receive letters have 30 days to argue why their memberships shouldn't be terminated. Chris Campbell for 10 News First.
A whistleblower in the US claims he was pushed out of his job for disagreeing with the president on the coronavirus. Donald Trump has announced plans to disband the virus task force despite thousands of new deaths every day.
Touching down to tour a mask-making factory. There was no covering up the president's awkward introduction. The facility's soundtrack probably could have used a vetting too.
Traps the particulates.
Guns N' Roses' Live and Let Die, a rather ominous walking around tune. And despite having an abundance available, nobody actually put a mask on. Donald Trump pointed at lots of machinery, threw out the occasional thumbs up and gave a speech to workers.
Gradual reopening. It's a reopening of our country. Who would have ever thought we were going to be saying that? A reopening.
The president's belief so strong, he's flagged breaking up the White House's coronavirus task force.
We'll have a different group probably set up for that.
Are you saying mission accomplished?
No, not at all. The mission accomplished is when it's over. When it's over, Jim, mission accomplished. No, I wouldn't say that at all.
It comes as a former high-ranking official filed a whistleblower complaint claiming his warnings about the virus in January were ignored and that politics and cronyism was put above medical advice when it came to treatments and stockpiling supplies. The President, meantime, is looking forward to a cure being found.
Will I take it?
Yeah.
If they would like me to, I'd go the first one or I'd go the last one. I don't want to waste it.
Joe Hill for 10 News First.
Hundreds of kilos of unsold fruit and veg have been given to the RSPCA to help fill up some hungry friends in need. The possums pigged out on the produce generously donated by Coles. The care packs of leafy greens, sweet potatoes and delicious strawberries will help feed 160 animals in Brisbane alone, easing some of the financial strain the shelter is under. Dog and cat food along with birdseed will also be donated by the supermarket. Hungry little critters, aren't they? Over to Jono now with another look at sport.
Thank you, Georgie. Hello again. No jab, no play. That's the message from PM Scott Morrison for the NRL players after Gold Coast Titans anti-vaxxer Bryce Cartwright polarised the rugby league community. Meantime, the message from the Rabbitohs was more like a veiled warning. Back off Latrell Mitchell.
Footy players are often accused of living in their own bubbles. Now they're being made to. Fences part of the protocol in the fight to keep out coronavirus. The Rabbitohs have their guard up over Latrell Mitchell.
You know, he's constantly hounded. He's a human being at the end of the day, and I think we need to give him a bit of space.
Mitchell made headlines for his social distancing stuff-up, but South say it's time to move on, likening the 22-year-old to a famous number 23.
I don't know if you've watched the documentary of Chicago Bulls and what they did to Jordan. They almost lost him to the game, and well, they pretty much did. I'd hate to see us lose Latrell to all this media pressure.
Campbell Graham doesn't know when he'll be allowed to see his girlfriend next.
She's looking after a few young kids who are high risk at the moment, so I've sort of had to limit contact with her.
What's that like?
It gives me a bit more freedom, so I don't.
Bulldogs captain Josh Jackson's partner is a doctor, but they can live together.
Because she doesn't come into contact with any patients who have COVID, and she's not working in the ICU, the NRL and the government, I suppose, are happy to keep that situation going.
It's taken government support to get the NRL back on the blocks, but Bryce Cartwright's refusal to get the flu shot puts him at odds with the Prime Minister.
Look, when I was Social Services Minister, I started the no jab, no play rule into the childcare facilities, and I think the same rule applies there, no jab, no play.
He's well and truly able to have the freedom to decide what goes in his body and what doesn't, and the rules we're under is that he was able to sign a waiver and still play.
Bence Hammerley for 10 News First.
The Melbourne Storm kicked off training in Albury today, but it was almost a false start. They had to hire a local AFL ground after they were banned from using council facilities.
It's a bit of an unacceptable double standard to say that a team of footy players from Melbourne can come here and use the sporting facilities, but local sporting clubs can't use them yet.
Meanwhile, Josh Addo-Carr stood up in front of his teammates to deliver a heartfelt apology after breaking social distancing laws last week. The hardline stance by the Western Australian government could scuttle the AFL's chances of a restart. WA Premier Mark McGowan won't allow West Coast and Fremantle to fly interstate between games, meaning their only options are to move east or host a proposed AFL hub.
We're not going to compromise on our hard borders just to meet the needs of football.
Clubs are expected to resume training within a fortnight. Too Close to the Sun has delivered locally based trainer Lindsay Smith his first Warrnambool Cup. On the second and final day of a condensed carnival, the Terang Cup winner went straight to the front and never looked back in the $225,000 feature.
Miramar trying to pick it back. Too Close to the Sun though, in front, and Too Close to the Sun will go all the way and win the Sun Gold Milk Warrnambool Cup. Does Terang, does Warrnambool. Too Close to the Sun of Smith treble.
What a thrill to win the Warrnambool Cup. I'd say Lindsay's a very happy man at home, and such a credit to a great team that we have here at Warrnambool.
Success for Damien Oliver and trainer Danny O'Brien in the Wangoom, with Order of Command carrying a whopping 62 kilos for victory. Georgie, that is all in sport.
Thank you, Jono. Well, coming up, Josh has the extended southeast forecast.
Poe's doing a cake as well. It's going to be head-to-head with Poe, which is like crazy. I'm not a baker. If I do better than her, I'll be like, yes!
They're not just baking cakes.
How would you feel if you learnt that Poe was doing the exact same?
Hayden Quinn Baking, how will this go?
The Battle of the Cakes, 7:30 tonight.
At Bunnings, we're here to help with some simple craft projects you can do while you're at home. You'll find plenty of stuff to keep the kids entertained. You can shop online, order the essentials you need, and we'll bundle it up for you. It's like having the warehouse at your fingertips.
Smartly monitor and track physical distancing at work with the new i2 Safe app. With smart monitoring Bluetooth, the app tracks worker distance to ensure a safe work environment. App access available soon. Register your interest today at cloudA2k.com/i2safe.
The COVID-19 crisis brings unprecedented internet traffic over the NBN network. To help support Australia during this time, we currently offer internet providers up to 40% increased network capacity. Our technicians remain on the ground wherever they're needed. And we're sharing updated tips to help you get more from your home setup. To find out more, visit nbn.com.au/response.
At Drake's, the health of our customers and team is paramount. That's why we've partnered with Academy Services to use NanoSen, a natural spray that kills 99.9% of pathogens. Drake's are committed to providing our customers with a safe shopping environment.
The game that makes the most millionaires is giving you 20 million more reasons to get super excited this Saturday. Gold Lotto's $20 million Super Draw Saturday. Play now in-store at thelot.com or the Lot app.
It was a Skype call back home. Nani just came out with it. Where is your beautiful hair gone?
Thanks, Nani.
Reached your turning point? The doctors at Ashley & Martin could help regrow your hair.
Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Parmesan Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
When was the last time you washed your hands? Go on. In 20 seconds, you can help reduce the spread of infection. We don't care which soap you use. We care that you care. For you and for all. Dove.
JB stores are open for business with the hottest deals. Sony Truly Wireless Noise Cancelling headphones for $2.99. Or these Sony Premium headphones for $3.95. And $450 off this Garmin Fenix 5S Sports Watch. Buy in store, online, click and collect or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
Oh, hey, how are you? Hey. I've lost a total of 10 kilos.
I've lost about 3 kilos with Few Foods.
40 kilos. So I'm not overly huge, but clearly I do carry weight.
Few Foods helped me reach my Brisbane Marathon goal.
Convenience, affordability.
We do talk about our favourites. The slow cooked barbecue beef.
I had the pad thai and I was like, oh my God. The weight loss is just kind of like a side effect of being on New Foods. It just sort of happened.
Up next, we look into how a Melbourne abattoir became ground zero with a cluster of COVID-19 cases. States look to start easing restrictions, but are Aussies mentally ready for life to return to the new normal? And we've got a super happy ferret and some hopeful Year 12 students to help lift your spirits. The Project next.
Well, time for a final weather check. Josh, showers should ease for the coast.
Yes, they should, Georgie. We're looking at a pretty good day unfolding for Thursday across parts of southeast Queensland. That does include our coastal areas. Looking at the synoptic setup tomorrow, we've still got our high pressure system and it is still producing some onshore winds for the Queensland coast. And as a result, the coastal exposed areas may see the odd spit and spat. I don't think we'll see too much unfold for areas of the southern coastline tomorrow. Most of the activity will be a little bit further north. Got a couple of cold fronts here lining up southern parts of Australia once again, and no doubt the wind speeds will be picking up across Tasmania and Victoria for Thursday. But closer to home, as mentioned, there are those showers that are predicted across areas of the east coast. In particular, we're looking at the best of the falls most likely around areas of the northeast coast and adjacent inland, possibly the Atherton Tablelands. But further south, slight chance of a shower for the central coast and through parts of the southern coast. Moving up to the north, and you can see here the chance of a shower for Cairns and Atherton tomorrow, but it should be dry for Townsville 29, 30 for the Isa and Longreach. Beach, tops of 27 for Rocky and Mackay, and we're looking at a dry day unfolding for Bundaberg, Maryborough and Gympie. Further west, Roma looking nice, mostly sunny and 26. For the southeast, it will be a partly cloudy day, the slight chance of a shower along the coastal fringe. It should be essentially dry for other areas though. Overnight temperatures falling to between 9 and 15 degrees. Daytime temperatures reaching the low to mid-20s. We're going for 26 at Logan and Ipswich, 25 the top on the Bay and also for Caboolture. For Brisbane City, we're looking at 25 degrees tomorrow. Pretty consistent, the temperatures currently. One above average for this time of year, but starting to warm up as we get through the back end of this week. So up to 26 degrees Friday, 27 Saturday and then 28 Sunday when those temperatures peak. Then starting to drop down with a slight change to 24 degrees over Monday and Tuesday. For Ipswich, 26 tomorrow, 27 Friday, then up to 28 and 29 degrees over the course of the weekend and dropping by around about 4 or 5 degrees into early next week. Now for the coastal areas, we're looking at the Goldie firstly, 25 degrees, mostly sunny tomorrow. We're looking at just a possible shower on Friday with 25 degrees, partly cloudy Saturday and just a possible shower again on Sunday, but with the slight chance of a shower Friday, Sunday, wouldn't read too much into that. There'll be plenty of dry breaks to get out and about. 23 degrees the top for Monday and Tuesday, and for the sunny coast, 25 the top tomorrow. Just a possible shower tomorrow, hitting the same mark. 26 degrees on Saturday and 28 on Sunday, then dropping down as that change moves through on Monday to 23 degrees. So the forecast looking pretty good over the next few days. Georgie?
Not bad at all. Thank you, Josh. That is 10 News First for now. For more details on tonight's stories, make sure you head to 10 Daily, but stay on 10. The Project is next. We'll be back tomorrow at 5. We'll see you then. Good night.
Tonight, we look into how a Melbourne abattoir became ground zero with a cluster of COVID-19 cases.